Fuck. Alrighty. Come on. Oh, okay, here we go. Greetings, minions and associates. Is my mic even working? Is my mic working? There we go. Yes. Greetings, minions and associates. If you are already a minion and you would like to tithe, please hit like. If you would like to become a minion, please hit follow. If you would like to confess, please do so in the comments. And if you would like to evangelize, please share. So I've been out for about a month now. I've been quite burned out, and I have lost my page. Hey, there we go! Yay! Okay, well, I do this. Oh, what a mess. Okay, finally. Anyway, I've just decided that today I'm going to talk about anything and everything, and let whomever comes in the chat decide what we talk about. I am going to start here, though, with some news, as I usually do. This just came out yesterday out of Texas. I haven't even seen this yet, so let's take a quick look here.
Locally tonight, who's accused of throwing a 7-year-old child against a wall. Police in North Richland Hills say the investigation has been looking into the Behavioral Health Center. Our Amelia Magavro speaking tonight with the child's family and attorney.
Good evening. Yeah, that school is not only the center of a police investigation, but also the center of a lawsuit filed by the autistic child's family. That family's attorney telling me tonight that that school was supposed to be a place of learning for the child, but instead became a place of fear. The school is called ABA Interactive Behavioral Health, located in North Richland Hills, and is a day school designed to help children with autism learn in a controlled environment. According to the lawsuit, one of those students came home with a visible scratch mark on his face back on June 20th. The lawsuit then says the school told the family their nonverbal autistic child had a behavioral episode and inflicted the scratch on himself. The boy's parents claim the school's owner would not let them see the video of the incident because it was against the school's policy. Then the lawsuit goes on to say the parents were able to watch a copy of the video eventually, which shows the therapist picking up the child by his collar. The therapist then pushes the boy into a corner, stepping on another autistic autistic child in the process and throws the boy against a wall with her hands around his neck. The family's lawyer, Wesley Gould, says police now have evidence of the therapist abusing other children.
The fact that it happened is disgusting and disturbing in the first place, but on top of that, the owner of this establishment covered.
The thing about this is we hear this kind of thing all the time. It is a very common thing. It's something that we have come to expect, and that's very, very unfortunate.
Covered it up, didn't tell the parents, knew full well what had happened, and brushed it under the rug. And the police department, through their investigation, had found other incidents where this same therapist had harmed other autistic children, and she never reported it. It is a wholesale level of just bad acting, and this should disturb anybody who has a family that goes to that facility.
And police did confirm with me.
Now they're just going to come in with the regular BS. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to try to find something fairly recent, maybe this month, because I've been out of it for a while. Now this story, I haven't seen this yet, but no matter what, it's going to attribute probably her speaking to ABA. And one thing that is commonly left out of these stories is the fact that these kids mature. And like my son, he didn't speak till he was like, what, 6 or something? And howdy everybody, howdy Murphy. It's good to see you, I'm glad you're here. Anyway, they don't take into account that, like my son, he got older and he matured. Now, if he was in ABA, they would have given ABA credit for him speaking. They would have given ABA credit for him toileting. But those things were late for him, and he didn't need ABA. And ABA was not falsely attributed to, quote, fixing him. But I imagine this is where the story is going to go. Let's see.
Her little girl and what she captured. 5-year-old Zoe Expert asked to borrow her mother's cell phone. Zoe has autism and has been nonverbal up until a few months ago. So mom was astonished when she saw what her daughter had recorded.
This is a pipe cone. This is the dandelion. This is the another dandelion. This is a grass. This is the sky. This is the clouds. This is my car. This is my house. And there is my beautiful mom. She's the best mom. I love her so much. And she's the best mom in the whole world.
Zoe's mother, hearing her daughter say, "I love you," for the first time.
Let's see if they...
Isn't that profound? We needed that tonight. Finally today, hear the mom, her little girl.
Okay, that's all they're going to say. Okay. That was very... Maybe they just cut it off for the TikTok video. That was weird, though. Definitely didn't go where I expected. You know...
Southern California is rallying tonight to support a family from Pacoima. That family went viral when Alfred...
Okay, and this story, that's an older story. Basically, a guy was unemployed and some dude kind of abused an autistic kid because he touched his Mercedes emblem. Autism treatment, groundbreaking technology, treating people living with autism. I so love that. Living with autism. Living with that disease, autism.
Spectrum disorder are finding their voices thanks to groundbreaking technology treating the brain. The therapies were showcased in Brisbane this week at a summit attended by world-leading neurology experts.
Until Halo Lee was 3.5 years old, her family had no idea why they couldn't communicate with her.
We actually thought she was deaf, had her ears checked, had grommets installed.
A level 3 autism spectrum disorder diagnosis eventually providing answers, but at the same time no hope certain skills would ever improve.
When we said this is what our life was going to be like with that.
They're lost. They have no hope. They're in despair because they've been told there's nothing they can do for their child.
After intensive sessions using new digital therapies under the supervision of Brisbane's Dr. Genevieve Damaraj, Halo Lee is now one of 33 patients turned verbal.
Good. Full. Very.
Stringing a sentence together within 7 days.
Now, do I get credit for that? I was totally wrong about them attributing, something to whatever instead of age, and it was a couple of videos later. Now they're doing the same thing. They actually are doing it.
Her first words were, she wanted pizza. But she's been able to tell us her emotions, and tell us how she's feeling, what she likes, what she dislikes. I think we've unlocked breaking the silence.
The game-changing therapies front and centre of a Breaking Barriers Summit in Brisbane this week, attended by leading international health specialists, among them sensory video games and tools using lasers, LED lights and vibrations.
Once we find the area of the brain that's weak, we stimulate these areas and basically build up these networks.
It's changed our lives. I wish everybody knew about it. Never give up. Seek answers. Look for something.
The thing is without studies or anything, you don't know that product is working at all. And when you have things like that do work, everybody talks about it, and everybody gets on the bandwagon really quick. So this is just a fringe thing, and another yet more snake oil, more than likely.
Neurology, look for ways of stimulating the brain, because the brain can change.
Claire Todd-Hunter, 9 News.
That was an extremely cursory story.
The teenager seen on video assaulting a teacher's aide is going to prison for 5 years. Video of the attack was caught on camera at Matanzas High School in Palm Coast. His mother and others begged that judge not to send Brendan Deppa to prison. Instead, they wanted treatment for him.
Okay, so here we've got yet another story and this goes on and on all the time. Howdy night, howdy Christy. Womb wrecker. I said that aloud. Oh crap. Here's yet another story. We get these about I think once a week. And that's just in English-speaking countries, so I would say probably every day there's probably an autistic child that gets lost and gets killed, mostly drowns throughout the world. I mean, because we don't know how many there are in India or China. We got 1 trillion people on this planet now, I think. Do we really have that many? We got a lot of people on this planet.
Water in the area that we need to get up there pretty quickly, and again, this is a 4-year-old child. We need to make sure we found him as quickly as we possibly could.
First at 5, the search for a missing boy in Escambia County, Florida, coming to a tragic end. Investigators with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office say they found the 4-year-old Daryl Beck this afternoon. More than 100 first responders spent hours searching the
I'm going to guess he was found drowned.
The Barano Community Center, that's in Molino, in hopes of finding Beck safely. Nation Smith is joining us live now with more information. Nation, this is not...
I have not seen this story, but this is also Florida, and Florida's really bad about little autistic kids going off and drowning.
Way anyone thought this search would end.
Not at all. The sheriff says it was all hands on deck as they spared no expense in what they call a very exhaustive search to find them. According to the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, this all started just before 10 o'clock this morning when they received a call saying 4-year-old Daryl Beck had wandered away from a house on Barnell Park School Road. Beck was reported as a boy who was nonverbal and was diagnosed with autism. Sheriff Chip Simmons says the Sheriff's Office immediately deployed all of its resources, including patrol units, K-9 units, drones, and their dive team. Sheriff Simmons says first responders searched what was a heavily wooded area for around 2.5 hours until K-9s began to head towards a nearby pond. When members of the dive team went in, they said they found Beck's body, bringing a heartbreaking end to the search for Beck's family. And
this is the most common thing that we see. Murphy, you've probably seen this a bunch of times right here. This is tragic, and this is something that we need to be very, very much well aware of in the autism community. And also, there are parents that sometimes get prosecuted for these things. Now, sometimes they may be negligent, but the thing is there is a big difference with an autistic kid. If you have an autistic kid, more than likely they're going to wander off at some point in time. I'm autistic. I've done it. Okay, and it wasn't my fault. My mother wasn't a horrible mother. It wasn't her fault either. It's just, it is what it is. It happened to me with my son. Luckily, it only happened once. I started keeping the gate shut after that. A lot better. Under any circumstances, always kept the gate shut, just so this kind of thing wouldn't happen.
everyone who went to look for him.
It takes a toll. Again, you do this job because you can save somebody. You do this job because it's important to our community, but it doesn't always work out. And
yeah. Let's see.
In the summer heat, drowning is a fear for many parents of young kids. That fear may be even stronger if they have a child with autism. They're 160 times more likely to drown than their peers.
160 times more likely to drown. And we see this, like I said, we see this almost every week. And that's just in the English-speaking countries, mostly the United States, that we see it. Primarily, you can even say states like Florida even, where there's lots of water.
3 families have faced the tragedy already this summer in Maryland. In June, 6-year-old Marcel Traore was found in the waters of Lynch Cove in Dundalk after his family reported him missing. It happened twice in July in Montgomery County. 3-year-old Ace was found in a pool, and 6-year-old Fawzan Hassan was discovered in a pond. All 3 children had autism. 2 of them were nonverbal. Autism specialist at Kennedy Krieger, Bonnie Van Meter, encourages families she works with to get their kids swimming lessons. But she also recommends tapping into your community as a resource.
Well, I would just encourage parents that if their child does have a tendency to wander, to let your community know. Call maybe the police and just give them a heads up.
In the summer heat, drowning is a fear for many parents of young kids. That fear may be even stronger if they have a child with autism. They're 160 times more likely to drown than their peers. 3 families have faced the tragedy already this summer.
Oops. All right, let's see what else we can find. I just put autism news, and it's amazing how many stories, particularly, I'm just putting this month. I'll put this week, see what's happened this week. Oh my God, school wants to arrest my son with autism.
I want my child. He is calm. I would like my child. I talked to Chief Vasquez. I am recording this right now. This is my child. He has special needs. They are refusing to let him out until they saw I was recording. This is how you treat my kid too, I bet. And everything, come on.
So those cops were just holding him hostage.
You're going to come with me, and we're going to talk.
Family, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Autism Mom, and on this channel we talk about autism and everything in between. Today we're doing another previous reaction video. Let's take a look at the video.
Child. Oh, okay. I want my child. He is calm. I
I would like my child. I talked to Chief Vasquez. I am recording this right now. This is my child. He has special needs. They are refusing to let him out until they saw I was recording.
That's literally imprisonment.
Anthony, come on.
Holding him in a room like
You're
that.
not in trouble. You're going to come with me, and we're going to talk. Hey, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, you didn't do anything. Come here. You and I are going to talk. I know they did.
What? Oh.
You and I are going to talk, and you're going to tell me exactly what happened. Because I guarantee you were probably telling them you were mad. And it probably took another 40 minutes before anyone listened to you. Come on. Let's go. You're going to come home with me and Deepa. Let's go. Where's Miss Lehman? Because I don't want to talk to anyone but her. Okay, so the principal again is not here willing to talk to the mother of this child. Where's my son's stuff? How am I going to find out what really happened? Am I going to see the camera? Am I going to get documentation of a report? How am I going to know what really happened today? No information from admin once again. Yes. Come on. I know. Yep.
Apparently, this is not the first time that this happened.
Nope.
This video was taken from this creator. Go ahead and give them a follow. This is just sad that
This is a type of thing that is to be expected at schools. This is how my son was treated in school.
even in school, they will call the police on your child. And not only that, they have put chains on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so honest. He's like, I snapped, he had a meltdown. But apparently he had a meltdown because he told them he was overwhelmed and he didn't want to participate in an activity, and they didn't listen, so he walked away. And that's what caused all of this, according to the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go to the comment section and see what they have to say. First commenter, Saturday. Okay, after reading the full story, this is such bull. This all started with the kid asking for a simple break from an assignment that was stressing him out quite a bit. That's it. If that is such a big deal that you need to deny it until a kid is in this position, then there is something very wrong with you. My opinion is that many schools claim they have professionals who are trained to deal with those who have special needs, and it's not true, which leads to a situation like this. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He feels bad. He can't control it. They just aren't equipped enough to deal with those kinds of students. I would agree with you.
Absolutely.
Next commenter, I'm a special needs teacher that has had numerous roles, and in order to have a kid with autism to snap, you have to escalate the emotion. In situations when a child is upset, you walk away and give them their space. You do not keep engaging to only escalate the problem until they are calm and are willing to talk to you. There has been numerous times where I have seen teachers and children want to talk with the child, and it only makes matter.
She's a SPED teacher and spelt there, giving them their THERE space. That's just funny. She's probably really smart and way more intelligent than me. But just
9
funny.
times out of 10, if a child is able to communicate, they will tell you they are upset. So to blame the mother and not have any context behind what the job entails says a lot. Yes, he may have snapped, but after he was pushed to that emotion, and you definitely shouldn't be restraining unless this child is putting himself and others in danger. There's so many levels of being in SBED and what protocols. I am so sorry this child had to go through this experience because this is traumatizing. I agree. Let's stop it there. You can't treat autistic kids like normal ones. You can't treat
Hey now. We are normal. We're normal autistics.
autistic kids like normal ones. You can't treat autistic kids like normal ones. This is why a lot of kids get assigned a helper.
You should treat every child like they're autistic. Give everyone deference to their needs. That's just common sense.
That understands their specific needs, like my son has in his classroom. Next, the mother's the problem. She enables the behavior. Sir, ma'am.
And there's always parent blame when it comes to autism, and that's BS.
Oh, ma'am, she wasn't even there. She got a call that they had him chained up in a room, locked the door, left him in there.
Mm-hmm.
So how was she the problem?
Oh, there's ways to project the problem on mama. Believe me. They can definitely project it on mom.
And she'll let me know next time. The reason she says he did nothing wrong is because, like she said, that he had probably been telling people about what was wrong and he was being ignored. The fact he knew he did something means he know how to vocalize his needs, which means he probably was expressing his issue nicely until no one listened. I agree. So this mom says, Mom, you're the problem. Somebody else responded. And how did you come to that conclusion? Because I just watched the same video you watched, and I had to come to the comment section to find out what actually happened. And the mother is defending her child just like any mother would. Nobody's perfect. The only mistake she made was putting him in a school that is not equipped to deal with special needs children. Somebody else responded.
And the thing is that's not necessarily a mistake. Most people who have autistic kids are autistic, and autistic people don't tend to have the greatest of incomes. 80% of us never work in our lives, so we don't often have much choice where our children are educated.
You're a clueless wonder. How dare you say that the mom is the problem? The police are the problem. The school principal and teachers are clueless wonders, just like you, and they are the problem. Shame on you. Shame on you. Somebody else chimed in. The problem is the mom doesn't care and sends him to school. Homeschool your kid as a woman and take care of the home, and then let the school babysit your child. Let me guess, you're one of those hippies. Listen here. You want the mom to work, put a roof over the head, put food on the table, homeschool, and take care of meltdowns all in one day. So if she stays home and homeschool, who's going to pay the bills? What if there's no dad? What if dad is deceased and she's a single mom? How does that work? Did you comment that part in there too? Or are you sliding by at the end of the month to pay the bills? I didn't think so. Next comment there. The school failed the kid. He didn't get proper help for his meltdown. He probably had an off day or something. School should have called his mom to get him if they had nothing else to help. He needs to be moved to a new school or to a school district that knows better ways to handle the situation like this. Somebody else was finding nothing but pure mother love was witnessed. That's it. I agree. Alright, this one. A little bit long, but we'll go for it. Mother sounds like an enabler. Yes, your son has special needs, but the way you talk to him doesn't help him either. Oh, you're the mother of mothers now. Somebody else is finding, but putting him in chains will, right? Clap back. Just say you've never worked with special needs kids and move on, or better yet, don't comment, because it's clear you have no idea. Not a clue. How do you know what he needs or doesn't? Is it from the 20 seconds it took you to watch the video? What would you have done? Point is, you don't know, so stand aside. Somebody else? Well, this is an uneducated comment, or I agree. Last person, if you read the comment, you literally see some people explaining that he, in fact, did nothing wrong. Unless you have a child with special needs and you know exactly what is happening here, please do not give your opinion on this matter. This matter has nothing to do with the parent. The parent cannot control a neurological behavior that the child has. Man. Clearly this kid is working hard to correct his behavior. He's acknowledging it, but clearly can't control it. I'm 1000% sure he has expressed to someone at the school that he is an outburst, yet no one was listening nor helping. However, if the public school system does not have the resources to deal with these types of behavior, then it's the school's fault for accepting scholarship and grants from the government to have the child in that school yet not using.
I need to put in earbuds so it doesn't echo. Totally forgot about that. How could I? What a loser. A loser. Yeah, put in these. These connect better. These should be connected here almost instantly. Hopefully. Sounds like they may be.
That money to hire the right personnel for these types of special needs children. Everyone is quick to blame the parent. Sorry, but it's not the parent's fault. This is a lack of training from the police department and school. In that order. Next commenter. If you read the comments, you literally see some people explaining that he in fact did nothing wrong, but walked out of the classroom because he was being neglected. Because he asked for a break and they ignored him, and you would have also read that if the mom were to blame him, he would have probably gotten overwhelmed again and be unable to tell her what happened. I didn't understand either why the mom was doing that, but at least I didn't judge before knowing the full context. Nice. This video was taken from this Instagram page and handle. Go ahead and give them a follow. Let me know what you think about this story, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
That was an interesting story. Mother facing charge for allegedly abandoning autistic daughter near dumpster in San Antonio. Hello, Trey.
This morning, a Bandera mother facing charges for allegedly abandoning her daughter in San Antonio. The 15-year-old girl has autism and is unable to care for herself. According to court documents, she was found on June 8th.
Okay, I hope this is not the footage of them finding her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
At a coffee shop
9 cruisers.
1604 and Petrenko. Documents show an employee found the girl locked in a dumpster enclosure. The girl's grandmother called the sheriff's office when her mom came home without her. Nearly 2 months later, Natalie Muno was arrested in a charge of child endangerment and abandonment without the intent to return.
So that must have been just file footage they just threw in there. Just because they didn't have any Study links prenatal BPA exposure and autism risk in boys. BPA? What is BPA? What is
A study
BPA?
has linked levels of plastic chemicals in pregnant mothers to autism in boys. The Florey Institute found evidence of higher levels of BPA in mothers who gave birth to sons who were later diagnosed with autism. Well, Professor Anne-Louise Ponsonby joins us now from Melbourne and has been involved in this research. Take us back to basics then. What were you originally looking at?
Right. Well, several past studies have shown a link between higher plastic exposure in pregnancy and abnormal child neurodevelopment, including or different child neurodevelopment, including autism. We wanted to go beyond correlation to understand this more deeply, and so we conducted a program of research over 10 years, including 2 birth cohorts, one here in Australia, the Barwon Infant Study, and one in New York, Columbus Center Study, and then over 25 laboratory studies to consistently get a picture on what was happening with the link between these two in terms of underlying mechanisms. And we have now published that. So we find that this link between high BPA exposure in the womb and the risk of male autism.
What is BPA? BPA, bisphenol, is a chemical that's used to make polycarbonate plastic, a rigid plastic used in many consumer products.
Is through suppression of aromatase, a key steroid enzyme in brain development, particularly for males.
Okay, again, take that back to basics for me. So it is affecting a child's DNA and their what's happening in their brain whilst they're in the womb.
Yes. So in both the cohort studies, higher levels of BPA were associated with switching down that aromatase gene that's very important for controlling male brain development in particular, less so for females. So that was in the cohorts. then in the lab studies, we had a whole lot of other mechanistic data, cell cultures, electrical activity. The important thing is my colleague, Associate Professor Boone, found a target compound that once we had identified the mechanism could then negate some of these effective BPA and in fact minimise some of the features of autism across different types of models in the lab.
Wow, that is, I mean, that's a huge development in itself, two big developments. People who may be pregnant will be worried watching this and at your research. So what is it that's in a mother's stomach that is causing the damage?
Yes, well, you know, unfortunately we find plastic avoidance at the individual level is quite difficult to achieve. Many studies have shown that. So it's really a job for government regulators. But currently BPA is in some food contact plastic materials. It's in lining of cans. And it's in epoxy lining on various different products. Even though BPA has become less common, it's not our job to consider. It's safety regulators for governments, and already the findings...
I'm hearing a lot of this, but nothing to say why they think. No statistics, nothing, no kind of studies, nothing. Just this is what we think.
EU regulation systems. So it's good to know that the findings are feeding back into that loop.
Yeah, I mean, very important research. Do you envisage, you say that there has been some changes, that it will change what advice there is given to prospective parents, what advice there might be afterwards? As you say, you're talking about reducing the effects of some autism.
Yeah, I think that the regulatory bodies that are responsible for giving advice about exposures during pregnancy or processed levels in food, they themselves will consider and bring it into their recommendations. More generally, things don't usually change just on one study, but certainly this study will contribute to that machinery of advice and recommendations. With the treatment, we're
oh my God, this woman's boring. She was boring me. I had to stop. I was getting too bored. What do you guys think about this Kamala Harris and Waltz? This whole election thing. I'm very curious about that. I'm going to put in this month again. And here we go again. Here's a 6-year-old.
We have breaking news tonight from Gaithersburg, where there's been a 24-hour search for a young boy missing for that long. And we just learned some very disturbing news just breaking moments ago. Lots of crews rushing to the scene where this boy was last seen. Let's go live to the scene. Our colleague Lionel Donovan has been following the updates all day long with family who have been there as well. This is a little boy who has been missing from Montgomery County, Gaithersburg, for 24 hours. His name, Fauzan Hassan, 6 years old. He was last seen at Bower Park. This is the last location where that young 6-year-old boy was seen alive before disappearing yesterday afternoon. Now, dozens of community members are down at that lake right now, but we are still waiting on confirmation as to whether or not the movement that we're seeing and the recovery that police made of a body in that water in the lake there is in any way connected to the search for this missing boy. Now, we know he is nonverbal, an autistic young man. We spoke to his father, and we saw lots of family members and community members there as well, simply heartbroken and certainly trying to really hold vigil in that space until they learn whether or not their worst nightmare has come to fruition. Of course, our colleague Lionel Donovan is there at the park in Gaithersburg, and we'll have much more.
Okay, TikTok, I'm going to kick you off and put you right back on.
Pivot over to what we have. I believe we have a soundbite from the boy's father.
I left the kids with my mom-in-law. Then when I come, I come in the car Just I grabbed just some mats and some kids' beds. Then when I back to the mommy lost the kid Fauzan. We lost him, Fauzan.
Again, that was information. That was an interview that was conducted earlier today with that young boy's father, distraught.
So that was the second young child that was deceased.
They need that routine that they set. That's very important to them.
15 families are going without therapy. The children are between 2 and 15 years old. They're all autistic. Some are nonverbal.
We look in the eye and we say, we're going to provide a job for you. And now it's like, we don't have power. We were all calling Centerpoint and they're saying, oh, the ticket's closed. Well, what do you mean the ticket's closed? We don't have power.
This is what the pole behind their building looked like on the day Beryl hit. Last week, crews showed up to fix the damage, but tonight Centerpoint officials say repairs are still not done.
They need that routine that they set. That's very important to them.
I can't be sure, but I think
Okay. That was interesting. So if anybody has any questions about anything, and I'm talking religion, sex, politics, LGBT, atheism, autism, let's go. I'm very interested in watching this politics here recently because things are happening that never happened before.
Jeff, it's great to have you on for this. I wanted to get your reaction to that sentence.
Yeah, certainly there are so many victims here. Certainly Joe Nidich is a victim, but also Brendan Deppa is a victim too. This is a person who has severe mental issues, severe mental health problems. I don't know whether jail is the place for him to be.
No.
And that many of these jails just don't
Of course not.
the kind of mental health treatment that he needs. He's going to need advocates. He's going to need.
So that's why this kid keeps on showing up here.
Breaking at 6, a Flagler County High School
This is so sad.
camera violently beating a teacher's aide just learned his sentence. News 6's Molly Reed is outside the courtroom in Bunnell, where the decision was just handed down. Molly.
Yeah, tonight the judge decided that he would sentence Deppa to 60 months, so that's about 5 years in prison, followed by 15 months
Jesus
of 15
Christ.
probation. After that, he was,
Fuck.
between the decision of sentencing him as a.
I think a lot of this had to do with it being the fact that he was black. Let's just be honest about this. Let's be straight up and honest about this. If he was white, he wouldn't have gotten 5 years. Particularly if he had some rich Ivy League family or whatever, he wouldn't have gotten 5 years in prison. No, they did this because he was autistic and black. It's bullshit.
A juvenile or an adult here, and he ultimately decided to as an adult. Now the judge says that he realizes Brendan Deppa has autism, but that this incident with him beating the teacher's aide was senselessly violent, saying it was, quote, troubling. He says at the time of the incident, again, Deppa was just 17.
No shit, it's troubling.
Just a juvenile, but this was also not an isolated incident. He said he has shown violence and aggression in the past with a number of Baker Acts because of it and numerous battery charges. We heard from several witnesses.
This kid's never going to make it out of prison. He will never get out of prison. Guarantee you. Somebody's going to piss him off. Prisoners are going to try to agitate him on purpose. He's going to fuck him up. And then he's going to be up in prison for the rest of his life. This judge just sentenced this autistic kid to prison for life. He gave him a life sentence. Unbelievable.
Today, including his mom, who says he has autism among other diagnosed disorders, and their family had seen the aggression before. He's charged with beating teacher's aide Joe Nadich last year for taking his
Knocked her ass out.
class. Deputy saying he beat her unconscious. All of it was caught on the video that the judge referenced today, too.
Captures senseless, extreme violence in a very troubling way. Dr. Pritchard testified that that was both volitional and an intentional act, in again saying that Mr. Deba...
It's not intentional act.
The difference between right or wrong. He knew that it was wrong. He admitted to Dr. Pritchard that he knew it was wrong, wished he hadn't done it, but he did it anyway.
So we're not going to get him any treatment that he needs, any mental health treatment. We're going to give him a life sentence to prison. The reason I know this is a life sentence in prison, I was a peace officer for 15 years in prison, and maximum security prison. I spent 10. I know what happens. And this kid just got a life sentence.
His mom again out here in the hallway again. That sentencing was just handed down. We asked her what she thought of this sentencing. She thought it was completely wrong. She said her son was wrong. She felt by the school district. She said they knew his needs and his triggers, and she said his plan was not followed. She thought he needed more care, probation. She asked the judge for him to come home, but again, he will now head to prison for the next 5 years. In Flagler County, I'm Molly Reed. Get him results, News 6.
All right, Molly, thank you for that.
No, he's not going to go to prison for the next 5 years. He's going to prison for life. Definitely going to prison for life. That's a real shame. A real shame. Okay, so here's one of those stories where I talk about parents being abused because their kids are autistic, and kids, our kids, we wander off. We as autistic people, we wander off. That's part of being autistic. That's not the parents' fault. But the law now and again decides that they are going to hold parents accountable for neglect, and it's not neglect at all. It's not neglect at all. There is no one with a runner that can keep a runner from running. That's all there is to it. And it's like there's always a first time too. What if the kid runs off the first time? You can't stop it.
Responsible parenting. Sometimes the consequences are chilling. The Midland County Sheriff's Office has detained 2 parents, charging them with abandoning and endangering a child. This revelation follows a distressing report. A 5-year-old child with autism was discovered alone on South County Road. Passers-by spotted the young child and immediately contacted authorities. While the identities of the parents remain confidential, the seriousness of the situation cannot be overstated. Child Protective Services is now involved to ensure the child's safety and well-being. This incident is a stark reminder of the profound responsibilities of parenting. The Midland community awaits a swift and just resolution, hoping for the child's secure future. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. These
people had no idea what was going on. No idea whatsoever what was going on, yet they put in that garbage. That's too bad.
No, the 5-year-old Matthew Glenn was autistic, which qualifies him as a vulnerable person under the Ada County Vulnerable Population Registry. The countywide registry started in 2021, and it helps law enforcement in our area respond when vulnerable people go missing. As a reminder, you can voluntarily register family members as a vulnerable person so that first responders and dispatch can quickly access their information if they're ever reported missing. The registry is intended to help people with Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, or people that are simply nonverbal. Back in June, we talked to Ada County Dispatch Captain Zach Walls, who said that the registry, it helps families get around and reunited with their loved ones.
If an officer or paramedics or firefighters find somebody who appears to be disoriented or lost, and they're able to obtain the name, they can ask the dispatch center to run that name, and if that person's been entered in the registry, we can utilize that information to get them in touch with their family.
So a crucial detail here, the information provided in the registry can also be used to help de-escalate a situation or tell officers what someone may best respond to. All the information is voluntary and only accessible to first responders and dispatch, but you must renew the registration every single year. If anyone is interested in enrolling a family member or finding out...
You must renew every single year. Kingwood family fears for safety after son with autism epilepsy waitlisted for treatment center. What is this, England? France?
The lack of living facilities for adults with intellectual development disabilities could be causing one Kingwood family harm.
That's right. The family says their 33-year-old son, Christopher, is diagnosed with autism, epilepsy, and is nonverbal. Over the past year, the family says he's had violent episodes that have put their safety at risk.
KPRC2 reporter Corley Peel joins us live from the Texas Health and Human Services Center off the North Freeway with why the family is struggling to get him the help that he needs. Corley.
The family says they've been trying to get their son into a state living center in Richmond that is operated by HHS, but they've been put on a long wait list. Covered in bruises is the norm for Eileen Simonetti.
Bloody nose, black eyes, black and blues. All of us, my whole family.
She says her 33-year-old son, Christopher, regularly has violent episodes, damaging their home as he faces many struggles.
He has profound autism, epilepsy, diabetes, anxiety disorder. When the epilepsy started in high school is when the behaviors became violent and out of control. He can be so good, and he can be very loving and sweet. And we love him. It's a constant living with a ticking time bomb.
The Richmond State Court Living Center evaluated her son in November. In February, she learned her son was waitlisted.
They said it could take 12 to 18 months.
Angelina Hudson is the CEO of NAMI Greater Houston, who is educated on intellectual development disorders. She says a shortage of state living centers is contributing to the long wait list.
And the number of beds in any facility is determined by the number of clinicians, the number of doctors that are available.
The Harris Center has been a liaison for Simonetti's family. She feels they have been getting the runaround for months without a clear answer for when her son will be off the wait list.
Have they told you what you can do in the meantime while you wait?
They say, oh, look for a group home.
And the Harris Center says that Health and Human Services is in charge of that wait list. It's unclear how long that wait list is, but I have reached out to HHS for comment. They said they are looking into my request, and we will let you know once we hear back. Reporting live, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
Interesting.
Well, the lack of living facilities for adults with
I am
disabilities.
Go ahead and ask me any kind of questions you want concerning religion, sex, politics, all that stuff that we're not supposed to talk about. Because I'm definitely willing to talk about it. Here's another one. 3 Maryland children with autism drowned this summer.
You know, many children with autism face a unique...
And this is just Maryland.
Especially in the summer months. And this summer alone, 3 kids in Maryland have fallen victims to that risk.
WMAR2 News' Elizabeth Worthington talked to experts about how to prevent children on the autism spectrum from drowning. Elizabeth?
Yeah, guys, it's a common occurrence for police departments to receive calls about a child with autism going missing. And recently here in Maryland, those calls have ended in tragedy. According to a study from the National Autism Association, more than 70% of wandering-related fatalities are due to drowning. It's one of the leading causes of premature death for children with autism. In the summer heat, drowning is a fear for many parents of young kids. That fear may be even stronger if they have a child with autism. They're 160 times more likely to drown than their peers.
Autistic individuals sometimes have...
Let's see. Okay, we watched that one earlier. Stem cell treatment for autism? Oh,
We
God.
finally joined a Facebook group of moms about stem cell
That's
therapy
another
and
snake oil.
autism. And the stem cell clinic in Panama just kept coming up over and over and over again. So thankfully, we did come and we did try it, and I'm so glad that we did.
And they have 0% success over other kids. In other words, yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. And there is nothing to show anything that the stem cell treatment, it does anything at all. Now, if it did, great. Be more than happy to talk about that, but that's not the case.
Our treatment, we noticed almost immediately, Travis became more socially aware. It's almost like he woke up. His language improved. He's always been verbal, but not conversational. He's less rigid. And interestingly enough, he liked to kind of play by himself. He, didn't have many peers, but now he'll come to us, and he has a younger sister, and he'll say, "Let's play a game," and he'll pull out a game, and that never happened. And all of these changes have been the last 6 months of his first treatment. I'm so happy that we found the clinic. It's just been a wonderful experience, and everything we hoped for has happened, and we're still hoping for more gains. We finally joined a Facebook group of moms about stem cell therapy and autism. And the stem cell clinic in Panama.
It is snake oil. It is snake oil at this point in time. Nothing to show that it does anything for us. For victims of cancer and autism, sue.
So I have another way to get a lot of people, almost everybody, some coin. I don't know how much it would add up to, but I imagine it would probably be more than 6 figures. But I don't know how it would affect these businesses. But I can't say it because these politicians will steal my idea just like they steal everything else. But I have a good idea. See, why doesn't everybody that got cancer in the past 10 years sue the government, sue the Prime Minister, the President, for not disclosing Fukushima, especially the radical forms of cancer that they don't know where it came from, what the hell it is.
What's does POTS feel like? It fucking sucks is what it feels like.
Yeah, so I am on a beta blocker. So that actually, my wife and I are both
Me
on the
too.
same one. It helps us crazily. Like, I couldn't have my job even on TikTok if I wasn't on a beta blocker. I would be bedridden. Think of it like this. It's like somebody being in end stage heart failure.
Oh my God.
There are like articles out there that like support that it is like end stage, or like heart failure, like your heart is failing. That's what those symptoms feel like. So without our beta blocker, we would feel like our heart was about to like die.
Yeah.
It just is that, like, it really, oof, it's bad. It's not, life without our beta blocker is not fun. I mean, life now is not the easiest with POTS, but we both agree that it has changed our lives so much for the better.
How did the POTS diagnosis change your life?
Yeah, so I am on a beta blocker. So that actually, my wife and I are both on the same one. It helps us crazily. Like, I couldn't have my job even on TikTok if I wasn't on a beta blocker. I would be bedridden. Think of it like this.
Interesting.
How did the POTS diagnosis?
Oh boy, let's see this. Carlton officers awarded for life-saving de-escalation tactics with autistic team. Now, if they just got a reward for not killing this kid.
Body cam video, and tonight, our Aaron Jones is giving us a closer look.
When Carrollton police responded to this apartment complex earlier this year, they knew they were dealing with a teen with autism who was wielding a knife.
Yeah, so we got a call that there was a kid who was in distress, and his mom was the one who was calling us. He said several times, "Just shoot me, just shoot me."
Okay, I'm not here to hurt you, okay? Just put the knife down, okay?
It's moments like these often for.
And some of the de-escalation tactics that were used on that scene specifically was whenever I did make contact with him, I just tried to talk in a calm voice.
It's okay, bud. I'm just here to help you, okay? I'm trying to help you, okay?
At one point, Officer Hoster, who was sitting next to me, informed me that he was a fan of Fortnite, and so I tried using that to kind of build a rapport with him.
You like Fortnite? What do you like to play on Fortnite?
And I told him if I put my gun away, if that would help him. And he kind of shook his head yes. So I wanted to make sure that
Yeah, no shit.
eyes.
But usually they just shoot. He had a knife in his hand. Normally they just shoot. But he still shouldn't get a reward for not killing the kid. They're not supposed to be killing autistic people in the first place. You shouldn't get awards for not killing autistic people.
Would distract him or freak him out.
Unbelievable.
Officers were able to detain the teen and assured him that everything would be okay.
It's okay. You're okay. It's okay. You're okay.
Last week, the 3 officers who responded to this incident were recognized for their great work, receiving an achievement award from the police department.
Great to be recognized. That's
sad.
Not the reason why we're out there doing what we do, but it is nice.
Ryan says he uses de-escalation tactics every day.
That is so sad.
Stops, family violence, any call for service.
Sounds like this kid might be on, or this officer might be on the right track, though. That's a good thing. But you shouldn't get awards for not killing autistics. You get an award for not killing an autistic. Wow. That's just epic.
So if you have a child with a disability that is in the public school and they are receiving any type of therapy, whether or not it's speech and language therapy or occupational therapy, I just want to remind you guys that it's very important that you also access therapy outside of the school setting. Do not rely completely upon the school to give your child the amount of therapy that he or she needs. The school is going to do the absolute bare minimum that they can do and get away with it. Now, I'm not saying that the school doesn't care about your child. However, the reason...
And when you go outside the school and get involved with ABA, they're going to do the absolute maximum they can do to drain as much money and milk as much money out of it as possible, irregardless of your child's condition.
Resources that the schools have does not equate to what your child can receive in community-based therapy. So if you have a child with a disability that is in the...
Oh, God.
It's been a dark road.
Of course, autistic black man shot. Young autistic man, black man shot, probably shot by cops.
For one Baltimore family after a shooting in April left an autistic man in critical condition. But brighter days could be on the horizon. WMER2 News' Xavier Weary shows us how community efforts are aiming to help the family.
After 33-year-old Christopher was shot, leaving him a paraplegic, the family is hoping a fundraiser here in Dundalk at Jimmy's Famous Seafood will help them solve their financial woes as Christopher continues to recover.
I feel fine. My body is not hurting, not stressed. Take it one day at a time.
Meet Christopher. Aside from living with autism, he's now adjusting to life in a wheelchair. After a shooting on April 10th near North Payson Street in Loretta in West Baltimore left him a paraplegic.
I cried. I've been depressed.
Christopher's sister, Shannon Hamber, is her younger brother's caregiver. Already a mother of 3, stressful job she's taken over.
And they told me it was going to be hard, that I should have put him in a nursing home and stuff like that, but I'm not, because this is my brother and I want to get to learn him. It has been hard with him going through the nightmares and depression, not wanting to eat.
Hamber says the day her brother got shot, he was outside dealing with a neighborhood bully.
He shot him. He said the first bullet went past his face, and then, the second one hit his spine, and he was on the ground.
The duties have drained her mentally and financially. Not only has a GoFundMe been created, they can look forward to Wednesday night at Jimmy's Seafood in Dundalk, a fundraising...
Well, this is cool. I'm just surprised. I'm very actually, and I'm not being a jerk here. It's just I see cops shooting young autistic black men so much that if I hear that a young autistic black man was shot, it's not a bad assumption It's a persistent and prevalent outcome that it is the police that have shot the black autistic young man. That's just common. It's normal, so that's what I expect. That's the most common thing. If there's going to be a police-involved shooting with an autistic, it's going to be a young autistic black man, almost assuredly.
Guarantee Trust Bank Ghana Limited, a subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, GTCO, holds its annual autism workshop and consultations. This initiative serves as one of the bank's biggest corporate social responsibility programs that is dedicated to providing support to people, especially children, living with autism, their families and caregivers across various communities in Ghana. This year's program being the third edition with the theme, A Spectrum of Possibilities, and seeks to promote inclusivity and self-advocacy for all persons living with autism.
Dr. Yvonne Nana Amabru is a skilled speech and language therapist from the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, outlined some intervention needed to reduce the rate of autism symptoms, which is greatly destroying children in Ghana.
With autism or signs of autism. Now, if we are able to pick their children up early, then we can put in some interventions. It's important to note that most of the children we are seeing have had parents who have not.
Damn, she screamed so much like you could hear it echoing. That was crazy. Okay, we're gonna try this week again in autism and see if we can come up with a more interesting story. Oh no, not this one again. Family speaks after 18-year-old found safe in
everyone, and thanks for watching
New Hampshire.
News at 10. Tonight, a scary ordeal for a Marshall County family is over. Now that authorities track down their 18-year-old autistic son who ran off with people he met online. And these surveillance photos we obtained help trace his steps. WAFF 48's Nick Ballinger spoke to Dominic Lauger's family after news broke of their son now found safe. Nick?
Margot, it took less than 72 hours to find Dominic after he left Marshall County early Sunday morning. His mother tells me this was so hard on her because he may be 18, but his autism disorder gives him the mind of a 12-year-old. Now, to just put that into perspective, the morning he left, all he packed was a pillowcase full of SpongeBob toys. These are photos from a security camera in a Buc-ee's gas station in Kentucky. Here you can see 18-year-old Dominic Lauger in the same clothes he was reported wearing the morning he darted out of his home in Grant. He hopped in a car with 19-year-olds Ruben Caruth and Ava Mae Huff, also pictured here with him. The pair picked him up early Sunday morning after forming a friendship online and left willingly.
This was just a mutual, hey, we made friends, we made contact and developed a relationship online, and they left as friends. So
within 48 hours, Lauger, along with his two friends, made it all the way to Laconia, New Hampshire.
That's a large area to cover, and the circumstances of the case were just not what you would normally see.
The circumstances are unusual because he may be 18, but Lauger is autistic, and under this specific case, his mother has legal custody over him. That's why these two are now facing interference of custody charges.
Something like this for a mom, you get hurt, it's a pain that there's no way you can tell someone. So when I got the news, I kind of just collapsed and howled.
This whole ordeal has been painful for his mother, Amanda Lauger.
Been the hardest thing we've ever lived through.
That's because she...
We've got a friend, and my wife takes her out to see movies. She's got a certain type of developmental disability, and I don't remember what it is. It's very, very rare. but it causes her to be very naive and so forth, much like autistic people. And she's been taken advantage of many times online. She's basically not allowed to be online anymore because of it. The thing is I totally lost my train of thought. Okay, moving right along. Oh, anyway, she's always at risk, so my wife will go out and take her out to a movie or whatever, about once every couple of weeks. And that way she can go out and have safe contact with people, interaction, and so forth. And her mom knows where she is and what she's doing and who she's with and so forth. So it's good for all of us, I think.
She was attacked the morning Dominic left. Huff sprayed her with bear mace as she tried to stop him, now leaving her another felony charge.
Stuff is horrible. I was on the ground. I couldn't breathe because it was the most painful thing we've ever.
Hurt.
And my husband still has some tingling today.
Yeah, I still get burned.
Yeah.
Blogger hopes this serves as a warning for other parents.
I'm telling you, I don't care. You need to get the kids' passwords. You need to know who they're talking to. You need to.
Oh boy. Treatment, physically, no. There we go. Look at this. Another story. I'm just pulling up news here. I am not specifically trying to fill up these stories, but they just keep on showing up. Why? Because they happen all the time. And that's why I'm showing this.
A 5-year-old boy with autism escaped his home and ended up in a pond in Deltona. A lot of times these stories can end with tragedy, but fortunately that little boy was found safely and pulled out. This all happened last night.
Not a lot of times. Almost always it ends up in a drowning. And look at this place. Look at all that water. I mean, there is water everywhere here. I don't know where this is. Holy hell. There is water everywhere.
Just a few blocks from his home. And tonight, West 2's Spencer Tracy speaks with the deputy who found the little boy and brought him back home.
Frantic moments for a father in Deltona. His 5-year-old son with autism got out of their home Tuesday night. The dad called 911 when he couldn't find him. He says his son got out of their home through a second-story door. This isn't the first time the boy has managed to get outside, so the family has precautions in place. That's how they knew he got out, because an alarm went off. Volusia Sheriff Deputy Wes Bruff started checking nearby bodies of water.
Coco! Hey, he's out here somewhere. Hey, I got him. I think he might have noticed me and made a noise to get my attention. I looked back and he was holding on to a dead tree stump that was barely sticking out of the water.
His instincts kicked into action as he spotted the boy.
You got him.
Deputy Bruff carried the boy out of the water and safely to shore. He says his timing was everything, as the tree broke the path that the boy was holding.
I thanked God a lot for putting me in that position, one, and two, for allowing that kid to be above water and breathing fine when we got there.
Deputy Bruff says with his autistic awareness training, he had an idea of where the boy could be.
I know that autistic children are prone to water.
Go to water.
They specifically said that he likes water a lot.
As a father himself,
See your parents?
Deputy Bruff says this rescue really hit home for him.
To have him hold on to me tightly like that, it felt like it was my own kid holding on to me.
The little boy is now safe and sound back at home. In Deltona, Spencer Tracy, West 2 News.
Hey guys, daddy instincts kicked in is what happened there. That's pretty cool. Let's see. It's fun to analyze things. This is in Boise, Idaho, 2 days ago. Now, this is a whole
especially when it comes to missing children. We have a breaking story out of Boise, Idaho. This is Ada County. You may think Ada County sounds familiar because that's where Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell were tried. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. The little guy is Matthew Glenn.
Okay, that was a 30-minute section on that, so I'm not going to go into that one too much. But that's Boise, Idaho, 2 days ago. Search for a 5-year-old autistic. And Matthew Glenn, I don't know if he was found or not. Hopefully he was. I have not seen any updates on that more recently. Let's put today and see if we find out what happened. I saved my son from a family church that had controversial practices. Well, that's right up my alley.
Huyo pasta alikuwa Kirimamboko. Akakuja. Alichimbua vitu mimi niliona.
He actually dug up some things and I saw them for myself. They resembled a human being and it was curved like this. And it was tied up using black cellulotape.
Akatoa akasema ni hizi.
He dug them up and told us they went up to the ceiling, he removed a bottle which they said they were being bewitched. They told their mom she couldn't just throw away. They threw them away to the river and swept away in the river. Okay, wow. This is some weird stuff. I'm not going to try to follow this. Interesting though.
I'm working here in, what is this place again? City something. City Cape Town.
Cape Town International Convention Center.
Yeah, so we came here and we come into a business forum. Summit. We're learning how to get rich. See, that's the whole idea. Yes.
Learning how to get rich.
Are you having fun?
Yes.
Cool.
There's
your glasses.
Okay. I'm running out of interesting stuff to talk about here. Is BPA 6 hours ago?
A study was published recently that links BPA plastic exposure in the womb to autism. News agencies around the world are reporting this story as increasing autism risk in boys, though I thought it would be sensible to say something before the study gets misinterpreted in the news like this one did last month. BPA and autism has been studied extensively. BPA isn't good for you, but the link with autism isn't conclusive. These researchers set out to find out how BPA might cause autistic traits. They call it symptoms.
They don't cause.
They found that mice given higher BPA levels looked at a stranger mouse for less time.
Mice?
This was correlated with higher autistic traits, as self-reported by the mothers, questionnaire and a single urine sample at 36 weeks. And the BPA mice also became more sociable when given 10-HDA or queen bee acid. But mice are mice, autistic boys are autistic boys.
So this whole BPA study is based on mice.
BPA disrupts hormones and has been linked to the extreme male brain theory of autism. Now, the lead author also caused autism a disease recently, which it isn't, but she might have misspoken. A study was published recently that links BPA plastic exposure in the womb to autism. News agencies around the world are reporting this story as increasing autism risk in boys, so I thought it would be sensible to say something before the study gets misinterpreted in the news like this one did last month. BPA and autism has been studied extensively. BPA isn't good for you, but the link with autism isn't conclusive. These researchers set out to find out how BPA might cause autistic traits. They call it symptoms in young boys. They found that mice given higher BPA levels looked at a stranger mouse for less time than ones that
Dr. Scott Miller, autism diagnosis. I don't know why this is new. I'm just going to play it. I'm just dying to know.
Everybody, and welcome
welcome
Oh
back
my
to
God.
my channel for this Thursday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I want to be speaking about the ITV vet Dr. Scott Miller. He recently came out as autistic in the wider media press, and the article is from the Mirror newspaper here in the UK. I know it's worldwide as well. The article
Nope, you're boring me. So, if I can get onto Steam here. Yeah, they were boring me way too much. We'll play a casual game here. So I am extremely fascinated and excited in a sense of Kamala Harris potentially becoming the new president. That is, of course, much better than Trump. I'm surprised anyone's voted for him at all, for any reasons whatsoever. Astounds me. There we go. So yeah, I'm open to any kind of questions. I never have opened it up to any questions whatsoever, but I definitely have a lot to say. Definitely on religion and autism. That's probably my main two. What do you want to call it? Special interests that I'm fairly well knowledgeable about. Oh wow. So I wonder, does anybody think that Donald Trump is like is Kamala got a big chance or what? And how is that going to affect? Is there still going to be riots? I kind of wonder. I don't understand the bullshit I hear in politics, because I watch politics fairly closely. And the reason I do, I think maybe it's just the autistic people trying to figure people out and trying to understand, but boy, it is so freaking hard to understand these people and how they just tell these blatant lies and so forth, and it's okay, nobody seems to have a problem with it. And saying the most ridiculous things. Complaining about Kamala Harris's laugh. Complaining that Coach Waltz shakes his hands too much. Wow. That's all they got. And it's so weird that it's those kinds of things that are being talked about instead of any pertinent issues that might, apply to anything important. But I'm definitely seeing some excitement that I have never seen before in politics. There was some excitement with Obama, but nothing like what's going on here today. Uh, so the other day, Trump said that he was a Christian, or he said he wasn't a Christian, and I never did figure out what he said, and no one has seemed very interested in finding out what he actually said. He's been mumbling so much stuff lately that it's very difficult to even follow him. It also strikes me how negative that campaign is. That really not talking about issues, not even their own issues that they want. Just saying, like saying, oh, J.D. Vance is weird. Oh my goodness, really? Is that all you got? That's pretty sad. It's almost juvenile, I think. It's he's weird. Saying sick, sadistic, or something stronger words, okay, that I can get that. But man, he's weird. I don't know. I don't get that one. I just don't. I have been burned out for the last month, and I have not been online. I haven't done anything whatsoever. I'm kind of trying to pull myself out of it, but it's been tough, I tell you. The only thing it has done is give me time to, I guess, reflect. Because I haven't been doing much of anything important or of a significance, so to speak. Hell, I'm boring the hell out of myself on this one. Oh, jeez. I'm going to try to, okay, come on. No, 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 no. Why, hello. Mama. Okay. Oops. Escape. Windows.